Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I would like to talk about the overview of the economy of Australia in the year of 2024. First of all, the two of swords in this spread represents previous than 2024. There was a major decision that was being made in the Australian economy. Um, it can be a decision that is difficult to make, but they have to make it because in order to gain the peace and to gain the balance, there's a need to make a compromise about something. Currently, the death card means something is coming to an end, and this ending is not a small ending. If it is a small ending, it will be represented by the Ten of Swords. But this one is the Death card. It is a major arcana, so it is a major ending. King of Swords on top of it means somebody who is very logical. Um, he is fair and he makes decisions based on all the logical reasons. So what I can think about is this is the person who is the current prime minister, I believe so. But on the other hand, this can also mean um, there are a lot of decisions that are made based on logical sense without too much emotions in regards to the economy. So I think they are trying to use some kind of very technical ways to solve some problems. Um, the Ace of Wands above, it means new beginnings and the removal of obstacles. It can also mean new ideas. So I do believe that because of the major ending that is coming up right now, that kind of leads to the new idea, the birth of something new. Six of Swords at the bottom of the spread, it means um, it can mean several things. First of all, the person is carrying two other person on a boat, so it can mean responsibilities. Um, like the more powerful one is carrying the smaller ones. This can mean fundings towards other countries that need help. It can also mean economic alliances that involves multiple sides, probably three sides. If there is such an alliance, I think it will be a three countries alliance, but it can be more than that. And then Six of Swords can also mean a period of recovery. So I believe that the Australian economy is overcoming a period of recovery and things need to be rebuilt, and it takes time. Six of Swords also means travel over water, logistics. Um, so I believe that it is possible that the US and Australia is closely related in regards to economy because there are some things that both countries are trying to do, which is the Six of Swords, meaning logistics towards the other countries, maybe Europe or maybe um, uh, not necessarily only Europe, but outsourcing things out of the own country. Page of Cups at the um, future position, it means it can mean several things. First of all, it can mean kids. Um, maybe the government thinks more kids are needed. Um, they might want to raise the birth rate somehow. Page of Cups can also mean um, traditionally it's about love letters, love messages. Um, in this read, I think the Page of Cups means it is there is some kind of good news about the economy. Um, I will explain why later. Six of Cups, it can mean assistance. So it can mean uh, the economy is receiving assistance from something, or maybe the economy is sufficient to provide assistance. But at the same time, um, what I can think about is uh, because of the death card, it means some form of transformation in the Australian economy. So I think there are groups of people in the society, they might feel like nostalgic about the past. Like they would think about how they how they made money in the previous years or decades or maybe even ages. But now it is coming to an end. So they might feel some kind of sentiments about it. I think it's kind of polarized because the Three of Cups means something that is worth to be celebrated. There's the alliance that can bring something good, something happy to the table. But then Five of Cups, after the Three of Cups, it means disappointment. So I see it as probably partially there are some good news, but also partially there are some bad news and probably because of the transformation, the ultimate end of something, and people feel nostalgic about it. At the end of the spread, Queen of Swords means um, traditionally, Queen of Swords, if that's a person, then that is someone who is probably divorced, widowed, um, who who has experienced great loss in their lives. So because of those hardships and lessons, they use a very logical way, precise way to tackle all the problems without letting emotions involved. So in this case, for the Australian economy, I think they are trying to use some very technical procedures to tackle the situation. Um, for some reason, at first I tend to think, oh, it is overly methodological. I don't even know if I get that right. Um, it's like, being very, very overly technical about things. But I do feel like they kind of factor in the sentiments of the public and the emotions of the public. So um, let me put it this way. The approach of the Australian economy is towards a very logical direction. But within the logical direction, they factor in the emotions of people. So it can be very smart to do so. But at the same time, it is based on the logic. Um, and at the end of the day, something does need to um, be cautious about, because the Queen of Swords, it is um, the card at the end of the spread. That can mean, even though the sentiments, the feelings can somehow be taken care of, by saying that I'm pointing towards the public. The the economy is still running on a very non-emotional way, so it can be either good or bad for some people. Um, because I believe that there are some people who are actually um, they need a lot of assistance to recover. Maybe not people, not just people, but businesses. For those companies or businesses, I believe that they actually, if they need to get the help from the government, um, they need to be very technical about everything, because emotions, at the end of the day, they are not being um, they might be honored, but not honored in a way that people will feel like they are being helped. So I think everything's in the Australian economy is, at least for this year, everything has to be very logical, very precise. They have to follow the procedures, um, and there are some painful decisions that have to be made. Um, the other thing I want to mention is about, usually the read for economy, if there are pentacles, that would be, I would say, more auspicious, because it means materializing the wealth and prosperity. But for this spread, I don't see any pentacles, so it is kind of special. Um, what I can think about is probably the Australian economy. There are some components that are building towards something just uh, not just being practical, but something that is good for the long run. So in order to manifest those types of prosperity, it takes a long time. Um, so it is obvious that the profit, at least monetary profit, is not the emphasis of the Australian economy, at least for this year. And on the other hand, I think the driving forces of the economic growth in Australia is, first of all, is less likely to be the stock market, but something that is connected to the emotions of the people. I have a feeling that health industry, holistic approach, those kind of stuff, mind, body, spirit connection, those kind of stuff can actually do pretty well in Australia this year, because there's a sense that the economy, well, I would say the public, the society, I'm getting a vibe that because of all the mishaps and problems that the country has been overcoming in the past few years, including the pandemic, including the wildfires. People So because of the mishaps and unfortunate events that the country experienced in the previous years, including the wildfire, the pandemic, I do believe that there are some people who are getting more spiritual about life in general. So this can actually impact the economy. So that's why I don't see the missing of the pentacle cards being such a problematic situation. I just think the economy of Australia is running on it's just not primarily profit oriented at this point. Probably it is very closely linked to the mental recovery of the country, of the people. So yes, and somehow I do believe that as the pandemic passed, there are a lot of people who actually want to get out of the country and travel to other places. So this can also, being represented by the Six of Swords, money going out the door to the other countries or continents. So I think this is what I got for Australia. Thank you for your time. If you have any concerns, any questions, please leave that below. And I wish you all the best.